Hello, MP Abdirahman Mohamed Jama. Thank you for coming today. It's very nice to see you. What is your impression of the United States, the political discussion here as the election approaches?
People are talking about law, about this Trump. He's not helpful. And my impression is, because I'm a Muslim, but I'm a moderate Muslim, and I don't want Trump to make all Muslims to become extremists. That's the way he's pushing. For example, if Trump was a president in this country, I would have chance to visit USA. I always used to hear the word American dream. American dream must not be segregation, either color or religion. I believe that all religions can live in harmony. Muslims do business with USA. So when I came here, unfortunately, Donald Trump made my trip bit, not good trip, because all the time when I see the news, he's talking about Muslims, banning Muslims from coming into USA. Total ban. And my people, instead of talking about Somaliland elections in 2017, they are very engaged and talking about elections in USA, and they are very afraid, jittery, and they're frightened to hear what he's saying, because this will incite a lot of public anger against Muslims. And if someone is hurt, he is responsible, because he's saying all Muslims are evil, and that's not true. I don't hate anybody. I am Muslim, but I like Jews, I like Christians, I like Hindus. They are human beings after all. I have got friends in every community, including you, Adrian. So I've been writing articles to your website. We would like to create this global democracy, not segregate.
Somaliland is watching American politics and watching the racial tension that has been going on with the police violence in certain communities, specifically the minority communities. What are people saying? What are the Somalilanders in America saying?
Somalilanders in America are very disturbed by this, because after all, someone who supports my party, he lives in Chicago. He was telling me that they were doing demonstrations against the extrajudicial killings, as they feel it, and of police shooting youngsters. So they were very upset about people being shot. And thanks for the dashboard of the police. There have been all these videos have been watched, and now they are more upset of Donald Trump's remarks, and they're saying it's not helpful. We might move back to Somaliland, because Somaliland is very peaceful, and people are building back. They're building their country, and they all come during holidays. They come to Somaliland, where they feel safe. So they don't feel safe now. They think that they're being cornered. First, they are black, then they are Muslims. That's the worst case scenario to be in USA, if you are a black and also a Muslim. If they are white Muslims, they can intermingle and hide within this big community. But now first they're black and then they are Muslims, so they don't feel safe. And they're saying, if Donald Trump becomes the president, we have to come back to our homeland or country of origin, and they've got children. Their children have got children. Yeah. They've got houses. They've got businesses. But Americans has to stand up against the racial, problems, against religious problems. Because America was built, everybody in America came as an immigrant. This country doesn't belong to the whites, doesn't belong to the blacks, doesn't belong to the Somalis. They belong to all of them. America was built on people coming all over the world. We know when Christopher Columbus came here, he saw people and he called them the Red Indians. So these people are the indigenous. Nobody can claim. Donald Trump is saying people go back home. When is he going back to Scotland? When is he going back to Ireland? We're all immigrants to this country. Let me remind you, Americans. So don't listen to Donald Trump, and be safe, and you have to live together as one nation, and don't segregate, please.
How did you get started yourself in Somali politics? Somaliland?
Somaliland. I started being a member of SNM, Somali National Movement. We're fighting against Siad Barre. I never fought. When I say I joined, I don't know how to shoot. I never became a fighter. I mean, a soldier. Because I always talk right things. I'm a writer. I speak. So I joined SNM, and in England actually, and we had some offices there, and we have been writing. That time there was no internet. 1988, 89, we used to collect money and funds for the fighters, and write and do demonstrations against the regime of Siad Barre, the dictator who was a military general. He took over Somalia in 1969 by a bloodless coup. He took over from the elected government. Somaliland became independent in 1960. They joined Somalia 5 days later. Somaliland, when we got our independence, unfortunately, we gave it away cheaply. At that time, we have been recognized by 33 countries as an independent state, including the 5 members of Security Council. By the way, Israel was the first country to recognize Somaliland at that time, and we're very grateful about that. After 5 days or so, we took our flag and our independence on a bus, and we drove all the way to Mogadishu. It's 2 days, something like that, 3 days. And then we went there, and then we joined them, and we were happy to unite the greater Somalia. That's why Somali flag, the blue flag of Somalia, ex-Somalia, has got a star with 5 edges. That means every edge stands for a Somali country. Djibouti, Ogaden, or Western, they call it Western Somalia, NFD of Kenya, Mogadishu and Hargeisa, that's Somaliland and Somalia. So we want to join them. That dream has evaporated, it's dead. And because Djibouti became an independent state, we want to keep, as the world wants, and the AU, African Union wants, to keep the borders of the colonial borders as they are. We don't disturb them. So when some people say Somaliland, you cannot divide Somalia into 2. We are not dividing. We are reinstating the borders that the British did, and that's how African Union agreed, and how UN agreed that the borders, colonial borders of Africa, has to be kept as they were. Otherwise, Rwanda, Burundi, Congo, all these, they've got Tutsi and Hutu and Tutsi who live the other side of the border. So if you say all clans and tribes come together, there will be a problem in Africa. So same as Somalia and Somaliland, we are keeping the borders of the colonial borders as they were. And we are not disturbing anything. now we are saying colonial borders has to be kept, and Somaliland has the colonial borders or the British borders as they were. And there are some people who want the clan-based argument, which says ethnicity, that means tribal. Some people has to go to Puntland because their tribes are in Puntland, which is not the correct way to deal with it. The correct way is to keep, so we reclaimed our independence in 1991. Somaliland has built its country, its army, its borders. We have got all the necessary conditions to be a state. We've got a flag, we have got money, Somaliland shilling, we have got passport. I've got, although we don't use it that much, I've got a passport which is diplomatic passport. We have elected 3-4 presidents. We have elected parliament, which I am a member. We have elected several times the councils or the municipalities, as you call it. So we have fulfilled all the necessary requirements of a government. And I don't know why the UN, which is a housed or located in New York, where I'm talking to you now, does not recognize Somaliland. It's very peaceful. Americans, British, all European Union, they deal with us like a country. De facto recognition. I'm always in London, joining, participating what they call it, the Commonwealth Parliamentarians Association and Conference, International Conference of Parliamentarians all over the world, 180 countries. I had my name, Abdirahman Jama, Somaliland flag in front of me, sitting there. And they know that we have got our own administration, working system, monetary fund system, everything. And by the way, Adrian, we are debt free. We don't get a penny from the World Bank. We don't get a penny from IMF, International Monetary Fund. And still we keep going. And we are keeping our secret and our cards very close to our chest.
Democracy Chronicles is a website focused on everything democracy in the world. We're interested in how elections are run and how we can make elections better. I know part of the confusion or the trouble that people pointed to with Somaliland is the voter registration list. Is it possible this is part of the reason for the delay? And what could be done to fix?
Yes, thank you very much for that. That's a good question. You know, in 2005, the Supreme Court or Constitutional Court said that voter registration has to be done, because before some kind of voter registration happened and they were not accurate. People can go back and double vote. Double voting was everywhere, and because of the cheap computers, and they cannot catch who's who. After a long struggle, especially from my party, we won the support of the Democracy Steering Committee and everybody who was involved, including your website, which helps a lot about democracy in the world. By the way, Democracy Chronicles, that you are the editor, is very famous in Somaliland, well known. People always, other websites, Somaliland websites, and Somaliland newspapers, they take your articles, and they said, in MP Abdirahman Jama wrote an article in the Democracy Chronicles, and they take it from you. So I thank you for that. And people, at last we won this contract. And now this biometric voter registration is being introduced in Somaliland. There's only one problem. Everywhere in Somaliland there is no internet connection. So some remote villages, it will be done on offline. And then that offline data will be taken to the server in the big cities. And people over there, especially this incumbent government and their Kulmiya party, they know a lot about rigging, and they know how to steal votes and registration. So we're a bit worried, but we will put some people in every polling station or vote registration post to get the data for us, how many people are registered actually. Then we will take the data and we'll double check with them in the city. So now, if your photo is taken, your iris or eyes will be will be photo taken, and the full face, the fingers, you cannot double vote. So I'm telling people not to try to do it again and again, because they will be caught. And we put some legislation for it. If you are caught, you will be put in jail for 6 months. The other thing, I'm telling the Somaliland diaspora, Somaliland community inside the country, that we have amended the legislation, and the data will be kept in Somaliland. It's not available to Britain, to US, to any other country. We have passed a law prohibiting the data to go into second hand or third hand. So it will be kept in Somaliland, and it's safe, so don't worry. So voter registration is going to happen. It has been delayed many times, yes, because of monetary fund, money problem. It was $13.5 million. 30% has to be paid by the government. The government did their bit. But the international community, they know that the government has got a lot of money. They are auctioning all the government buildings. They're auctioning everywhere. So they know that. So they say, we don't have to pay 1.5 million. You have to pay from your pocket. So we have been helping the commission and the government as opposition and convincing the international community to pay the money. At last, we won that battle. 1.5 billion was paid, and now we are, as they said, we are ready to roll.
Recently, Bill Gates, the founder of Microsoft, richest man in the world, has made comments about Somalia and Somaliland particularly, and how the phone payments has really advanced in Somaliland ahead of the rest of the world. How they use this could be a model for the broader world, including places like India and even the West that hasn't adopted this technology. What do you think about this?
Bill Gates, the founder of Microsoft, to mention even our name in his speech is an honor, and we are very grateful to him, and we urge, he's a billionaire, he's the richest man in the world, to fight for our recognition. Because Somaliland, he said, it exists and doesn't exist in his speech. We exist. We have, as I told you, we got our administration, our monetary fund, our monetary system, our legislation, our parliament, our president, elections, democracy, everything is in place without help from outside world. International community helps us with elections only, just elections. We are not being supported, and about the budget, we have to pay the salary of 20,000 military and police and workers, office workers, municipality, parliament. We don't get a single penny from the international community to support us in our budget. We get some support, which is called, and UK helps us, and other countries, Somaliland Fund. There's a fund, they put some money in there for some projects, development projects. And that's been, Scandinavian countries and Britain help us about that. And that's, Bill Gates is right. Somaliland is first in the world about electronic transactions. You put all your money on your mobile, and then you send anyone, you send to the hotel, taxi, even shoe shiner. They've got their own. The shoe shiner will ask you $1 please, $half, half a dollar, less than that. You send it, any 50 cents on the mobile. And most of the American dollars are in Somaliland. And even the merchants or exchange vendors, they know which fake, which not. Without using electronic. They just say like that. Through the sun, they know which false, fake notes. So now we have no problem with fake dollars, no problem with torn dollars, no problem with theft. It's a big pocket because you don't put your money in your wallet. We put everything in the phone, and we've got a PIN number. It's like ATM in your pocket. ATM, mobile ATM. So you just send money in every place, whether in a village, remote village, everywhere in Somalia. And that's being done by Telesom company.
We were introduced by Abdirahman Mohamed. Can you tell us a little bit about Dirye and his work?
Oh, yes. Abdirahman Mohamed Jama is a member of my constituency in Somaliland. He's a young man. He went to university in Ethiopia and he started writing about democracy, about against extremism, and Abdirahman has been threatened many times by the extremists. And I saw his many articles on Democracy Chronicles, and I commented on it. Then, because of that comment I made, you, I think, got in touch with me, thanking me about my comment. Then it started like that, and Abdirahman Dirye has not got a job in United Nations, but I'm not telling his location because fear of his life.
So as an MP in Somaliland, the current situation is we're waiting for an election to be officially scheduled. Could you tell us a little bit about how the election planning is going and the current situation?
Yeah, as you know, they have been writing a lot about Somaliland democracy and about the delayed elections. We have been writing and talking and shouting about delayed elections, and we were telling beforehand the intentions of the incumbent government that they wanted to delay the elections, and they did. Our forecast was right. They wanted to delay it, and they delayed 2 years. We are a democratic government. We have got 2 chambers of parliament, the House of Elders, as they call it, Ugurti. That house is the upper house. It's unelected. It did a lot for the country when the wars were going on, and they disarmed the militias, and they were very useful. But now those men are all deceased, they're gone. Their children are inherited by their grandchildren or children. So, and in the Constitution, Somaliland Constitution, which was adopted in 1997, it says that they have to be elected, but no election has been taking place. The House of Representatives, or Golaha Wakilada, which I am a member, is elected. This government, when it came to power in 2010, our election was due, and they also delayed our election because they are responsible about elections. They have to put funds aside and ask the rest from the international community. So in Somaliland, the previous president, before Ahmed Silayo, before the incumbent, was Daher Riale Kain. He is the father of Somaliland democracy. He did 4 elections. This government only did one election, which was a municipality election in 2012. And there were lots of blood. So many people were killed because of the demonstrations, because of the rigging of votes, as they felt that their votes were rigged. And there was corruption of this. So people were demonstrating and the police were shooting. And I wrote a lot about it. And I visited them in the hospitals. So we hope that they have now delayed the elections to March 2017. After a lot of pressure from us as opposition, as an opposition MPs, from the international community, they now postponed the elections. They've been elected for 5 years. They should have done the election in 26 June 2015, 5 years over. Now they've got 2016 and 17. So now that has been announced by the commission, and they took it to the court. They took it to court. The court has actually rubber stamped their wish, which is March 2017. They were using the upper house or the Gurti to extend it, because they are the people who are responsible about the extension. Although there are some conditions, Article 83 of the Constitution says if there are wars or no security fears, lack of security, of there are wars going on, the Gurti has to extend the mandate or the term of the president and the vice president. But there were no wars, diseases or famine, and then still the Gurti extended their term. And the Supreme Court, and we have got Constitutional Court and the Supreme Court as one. In the Constitution it says we have to create a Constitutional Court, not yet. So the rubber stamp there, and we have no choice but to accept it as the opposition. So we hope now the money has been given by the international community. There's a group called Democracy Steering Committee, including USA government, British government, Norway, Sweden, Denmark. They've got representatives in Hargeisa. They put the money aside. The government has to pay 30%. They paid it, and now we are ready to roll. We are ready to go to vote, and I'm sure my Wadani party will win, because people in Somaliland are fed up with the Kulmiye incumbent president and government. And I know, as I wrote a lot about it, the government, the president, is not in full control. Other people who are unelected from his family are using his power, and they are calling the shots, pulling the strings, giving contracts. So Somaliland people are fed up, and they want to change this, and they want to change it quickly. So I invite you and your crew to Somaliland when the elections are going on, and you are happy, I'm very happy, and you are welcome to come to Somaliland.
How can our viewers and people who read about Somaliland help Somaliland from the outside?
Democracy Chronicles is widely read and respected throughout the world, because you write in every corner of the world. I've seen Africa, Asia, everywhere you write about it. And people read and respect your website. It can help if you keep focused on Somaliland, focused on recognition, because Somaliland has fulfilled all the requirements of a country. Democracy Chronicles can help us to be recognized. As I'm asking Bill Gates now, you can be you can back up, and you can lobby for us as well. We started from scratch without the help from international community. So if we get a website which lobbies for our recognition and writes a lot about Somaliland and focused on Somaliland, that will help a lot, and we will be very grateful of your help. We would like America, USA, to be more involved in Somaliland. What I'm telling you is the Somaliland or Somali voters or African voters or black voters, they vote for democracy, for Democrats, not Republicans. When Republicans were in the government, they sent lots of Minister for Foreign, Deputy Minister for Foreign Affairs. Some we use, and they sent IRI, International Republican Institute, were helping us. So Republicans are more interested in Somaliland than in the Democrats. And I'm telling you, our people here vote for Democrats. So how is that? We want Republicans, Democrats, to help us more as they are in the government. And if they come back as well, if Ms. Clinton, Hillary Clinton comes on the helm, I urge her to help us and recognize us and send our flag to help to Somaliland Democrats. We're not saying financial help, we're not talking about fair, we're talking about recognition. So Republicans, when they were on the helm, they used to send high-level delegations, and they used to interact with Somaliland. We don't know what's wrong with Democrats. They have no clue what's happening in Somaliland. So I urge them to look Somaliland again. The President Obama came to Ethiopia, next door to Somaliland. He never mentioned Somaliland. I'm telling you, Mr. Obama, Somaliland is peaceful. You don't need your bodyguards if you come to Somaliland. Welcome to Somaliland.
Thank you for listening.
Thank you.
تعال فريدة لزوجي تعال فريدة صغير